Jo Kata. Sanjuichi no Jo Kata, 31 count kata, and Jusan no Jo Kata, 13 count kata. And an interesting fact, the 31 kata, Saito Sensei told us the story of it, that it was a kata that he saw O-sensei train enough times so that he could steal the kata. O-sensei didn't teach kata the way that we teach, or step-by-step, pedagogically based teaching method. O-sensei just trained, and then his students tried to copy him. And if you watch films of O-sensei, a lot of his Jo work is very circular, all sorts of incredibly complex movements. And my understanding of O-sensei's Jo work was that some of it was related to the universal power. It was very much sort of a kind of Shinto ritual, purification ritual, with the Jo going all over the place. And then sometimes he would go into these martial movements with his ki, uchi, different kinds of martially based movements. So he would move between these two worlds. And Saito Sensei trained with O-sensei for 23 years, day in and day out. In the mornings, sometimes only with O-sensei. So he was able to catch what O-sensei was doing. The 31 count kata is based on all martial movements. You don't find any of the ritual movements in it. Very martially based. Saito Sensei said this is a legacy from O-sensei. The 13 kata was the beginning of a longer kata that Saito Sensei couldn't steal from O-sensei because he didn't see it enough times. So instead of Saito Sensei making up the end of it, he chose to stop it where he had gotten to in his own understanding of the kata. And he would always tell this story. And I think it's important because Saito Sensei didn't want to put his own Aikido into O-sensei's Aikido. He was trying to teach what he had learned from his sensei. So we're going to start with the 31 kata, work on that a little bit, and then move into the 13 kata and work on that. Okay? And the 31 kata is structured so that you have these kind of waypoints where you go into tsuki no kamai. And there are 3 waypoints that you can use as a kind of marker for where you are in the kata. And I'll emphasize that as we go. We start in Jo Kamai. And the first movement is Kaishi Zuki. So this is ich, ni. Upward parry, san, again Kaishi Zuki. Shi. So that's the first block, ich, ni, san, shi. Yeah? Ich, ni, san, shi. And before we go one more time, the ki-ai, breathing. Outgoing movements have ki-ai. Movements where you are gathering your ki have inhalations. Again, the haku-iki, exhalation, and su-iki, inhalation. So in this case, it's balanced. We have ich, ni, no ki-ai, breathe in. San, ki-ai, no ki-ai, breathe in. Okay. Now continuing, we have 2 strikes forward and 2 strikes back. They all should have ki-ai. So this is go. Go. Turn. Pitch. Touch. Okay. Good. Now continuing, we have big circular strike. Yeah. round, step back. Q, that's 9. Ju, that comes up as a kind of parry, upward parry. Then Yokoin, Ju-ich, and into Tsukino Kamai, Ju-ni. Ju-ni 12 is the first Tsukino Kamai. That's our first waypoint. Okay? So again. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rot, dich, hach, Q, Ju, Juich, Juni, Inokamai. Now from here, Juni, Kara, Juhachi Mare, 12 to 18, that is the Rokunojo Kata. That's what we were doing yesterday. The kata inside the kata. So this is 12, 13, Jusan, Ski. 14, Yuchi, Yorangai Shiuchi. That's gathering your ki. You don't ki-ai, you breathe in. Then you breathe out with ki-ai for the strike. Jugo, Yuchi. Breathe in as you chamber the jo. 16, and ki-ai for the Geirangaishi. And then turn the jo into Tsukino Kamai. Yeah. And you are in number 18, Juhach. Second time, Tsukino Kamai. Okay, so just this form from 12, 13, Jusum. Yushi. No ki-ai here. You go. No ki-ai. Breathe in. Ki-ai. And breathe in. So this section is symmetrical in terms of kokyu, breathing. Ki-ai out, breathe in. Ki-ai out, breathe in. Okay? So, one more time. 13. 13. Jusum. Jushi. Jugo. Jugo. Jushich. Juhach. Good. So from the beginning and to here. So remember again, the first part, the ki-ai is symmetrical. Then you have 4 strikes. You need ki-ai on each strike. So you have to fit your breathing with that. Okay? If you're doing it slowly, you may have to breathe in after every strike. So when the jo goes up, you can use that movement to breathe in. And when it goes down, you use that movement for the ki-ai. If you're doing it a little bit faster, you can do so 2 ki-ai in one breath. So the ki-ai will depend on the speed of which you are doing the kata. Okay? I only ask one. So from the beginning to 18. Hey, pitch. Some. Go. Go. Pitch. Touch. Ku. Ju. Juich. Juni. Jusum. Jushi. Jugo. Jugo. Jushich. Juhach. Good. O-sensei spoke of, let's sit down for a second because I think this is of interest. O-sensei was once asked by his student, why is it that your Aikido or our Aikido doesn't look like your Aikido? This is something I read. Again, I have never met O-sensei, so I'm not speaking firsthand. And O-sensei is said to have answered, it's because you don't understand yin yo, or in Chinese, yin yang. the in-yo in Aikido is extremely important. And for instance, our breathing represents very much in and yo. The movements represent in and yo. The outgoing movements, yo, are of course, as I was saying, where we use kiai. But we need the in as well to gather our ki. So the movements where we chamber are used for inhalation. And in and yo isn't always one-to-one. For instance, we have these 4 strikes. Each of them is yo, they're outgoing movements. So we need the outgoing breath, the kiai. So it's interesting with the kata, there are places where it's symmetrical, in and yo, and there's places where there's a lot of yo because it's martial, so you have these strong outgoing movements. So please be aware of that. One point when we're doing the 4 strikes, ich, ni, sam, shi, go, ri, go, off, ich, ri, hach, ri. The next movement is called ushiro barai, which is a backward strike, and it sort of clears the space behind you. Okay, that's number 8 and number 9. Then the next movement, in the kata, it's a kind of upward parry. It's an absorbing movement, so it doesn't have kiai. It's an in form. And then the next movement is hidari yokomen. Hey! If you do the Kumijo, 31 kata Kumijo, that movement becomes a strike in the Kumijo. Saito Sensei always said, don't confuse the kata form and the Kumijo form, because the Kumijo form has some small differences. It's an applied version of the kata. So some of the movements have been interpreted by Saito Sensei as strikes, where in the kata, they're not strikes. So this is one of them. Ku, ju is an absorbing movement, like an upward parry, not a strike like it is in the Kumijo. So I would like to make sure that that message that he gave us students is brought out to you, because a lot of people practice the Kumijo and then that influences the kata. So the kata changes. And we need to keep the kata pristine, the way it was done before the Kumijo. Saito Sensei made the Kumijo for the kata, not O-sensei. So we have to keep those differences. Hai, onegaishimasu. So,
we have experiences.
Some she go look ditch hatch coop Jew Jewish Judy do some do she do go look do six do hatch. Now, next series of movements. Juhachi, Juku, 19, Gedanski. Now, Joran Gaishi Uchi, 2, Gedan Uchi. And you go down on left knee, and Niju Ich goes backwards. Niju Ich, 21, is not a ski to the rear. It's a chambering movement to get ready for the next ski. Reach your knee, downward cross. To chest. Rotate the jaw and back into Kino Tamashi. Reach your suck. Okay, so this is the third waypoint with the Tsukino Kamai. Okay, so if we say we're in 18 now, we're taking the new section. 19. Hiranski, Juku. Those two go together. Niju, Niju Ich. Niju, Niju Ich. It's not a steady count here. 20, 21 go together into each other. And then Niju Ni, Turn the jaw. Okay. One more. Same point. 18 to hatch. You cook. You do. You each. You do. You do some. From the beginning and to the sun. Each. Knee. Sun. Sheep. Go. Go. Touch. Coop. You. You some. You sheep. You go. You look. You sit. You hatch. You cook. You son. 23. Now the final part of the kata. Need you see? Need you go. 24, 25. Part 2. Forward. Hey. Need you see? You go. Need you go. Back. Side step back and prepare Gerangaishi. Now you do Gerangaishi, but you are stepping back. You're using it as a defense. Hey. Right. Ditch. Then ski from this side downwards. Need you hatch. Need you coup. And this goes into ski no kamae on the opposite side. So right hand side, ski no kamae. Sanju, ski. And then Gyaku yokomu. Sanju each. And we're not finished yet. 31 kata ends back in Yokama. And then you're finished. So please remember, for an actual kata, to be a kata, there are two prerequisites. One is the first movement should be a defensive movement. And the kata should start and finish in the same spot and in the same position. Okay? And that's what we're doing here. And then back into Doha. Okay? So let's take it from 23 and then to the end before we take Doha. How you guys? So 23, 24. Nichushi. Nichugo. Nichurok. Nichushich. Nichuhach. Nichuku. Sanchu. Sanchumich. Come on. Going to do that again. At the end of the kata, from 26, the kata changes size. And we do a series of movements when we're standing in Migi Hagi or Migi Shioen. And it's very easy to lose one of those moments or movements, so you end up doing a 30 kata instead of a 31. That's this classic sort of trap on this side. So let's try to focus on what's happening in this last part of the kata. So we're again in Nichusan 23, 24, Nichushi, Nichugo, Nichurok, 26. From 26 to 27, we change sides. So reverse Gerangaishi, 27. From here you do a ski in the same position. You hatch. Then you turn the jaw. You do 29. Then do a ski, 30. And then Gyako Yokomen, 31. And tada. Okay, so one more time. The last part of the kata. Nijushi. Shugo. Shurok. Nijushich. Nijuhach. Nijuku. Sanju. Sanju each. Very good. We'll work on the whole form now, just a few points. As I mentioned yesterday, when we're doing ski in our kata forms, we should be doing Chudan Tsuki. So we're establishing the horizontal position with our Jo. Hey. Oh, here. In the beginning, hey. So horizontal position. Later on, when you apply it against an opponent, then you can point the Jo upwards or downwards. But in our kata form, it's recommended to establish the horizontal level of your tsuki. And when we're doing uchi, it's shomanuchi or yokomanuchi. But like I said before, also with the sword, in Aikiken, Aikijo, we don't stop at the intended point of contact. We cut or strike down fully. So the Jo, again, is at a horizontal point. It makes the hips stronger than stopping up here. So we're establishing that strong hip position, which is part of the lineage, where you can throw from that position, where if you're up in the high position here, your body isn't really as stable. So again, when you strike or cut all the way down to the horizontal level and extend outwards. Your energy, your ki is going outwards and downwards. Okay? So now the whole kata. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, look, sit, hach, hui, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo, julok, jushich, juhach, juku, iju, juich, juni, jusam, jushi, jugo, julok, jusich, hach, juku, sanju, sanjuich. Okay, a few details that I think will help you also to understand the movements of the kata. Now that I've been watching you, doing very well. Along the way, ich, ni, sam, shi, go. When we're striking Godok Shichach, 5, 6, 7, 8, remember the sword grip with the distance. If you're holding too wide, you can't rotate the Jo up over your head. Your shoulder blocks that movement. So you have to train your hands to automatically get the correct distance between the hands in the grip. Because 5, 6, 7, 8 are all, they're all makiuchi, the circular strike. Not wo, shich, hach. They could be, but the kata form is circular strikes. Okay? Up over the head. So for that to happen, the circular strikes can be either shomen or yokomen. When the Jo or ken goes up over your head around, makiuchi means a circular movement, circular furikaburi, meaning preparing the sword to strike. You can either let the Jo or the sword follow a kind of angle in the strike, or you can straighten it up so the Jo comes straight down as shomanuchi. It depends on how you want to apply that strike. If you're facing somebody who has a weapon on the center line, then a shomanuchi strike won't work because the opponent's Jo or weapon is in the way. Then the yokomen will bring you around the center line and the weapon that's blocking the center line. So it's not wrong or right, it depends on the application. So, circular strikes for Gorok Shichach, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when you've finished, look, Shich, Hatch, Ku. Number 9 is an Ushiro Barai, to clear the space behind you. So it's all space. If you have somebody behind you, for instance, in Nukabai with the Jo, and I'm standing there, I want to clear the space behind me. So in order to do that, as I turn, my Jo is coming from a high position and down that way. So it's going down at like a 45-degree angle towards his head and past. It doesn't really clear that much space if I do that. It doesn't feel as threatening. So the Ushiro Barai, in its basic form, after you're struck here, you lift the Jo up and make a big circular space here. That makes him step back. Just a few more final points, and then we'll move into the 13 kata. That is one of the tenets of Aikido work is we always want to have both hands on the Jo unless we're doing some specific movements which are called katate techniques, single-handed techniques. They're a part of the 20 suburi. But in all our basic forms, for instance, we have Kaishizuki as the first movement. We naturally get our hands on the top of the Jo. When we go into 13 kata, the first movement is Shokuzuki. And that is where we get the second hand on the Jo below front hand. We'll work on that in just a minute. But along the way, when we're doing hand transitions here, I'm going to transition into striking grip. So I want to get my hand, I want to turn and get this other hand on the Jo right away. I don't want to try to grab the Jo somewhere here. So I'm always keeping the hand connected to the Jo. Small adjustments going on. When I change from Gyaku Yokomen, left side strike, I don't want to do this. My hand slides past this hand, so I'm always in contact with the Jo. Jusan, Jushi, Jubo, Juro, Jushi. Again, turning the Jo, keeping contact with the Jo, not trying to catch it in midair. Juku, Ichu. Hand transition here, 19. So my hands are moving into the middle of the Jo to turn and around into the striking grip. Okay, not trying to catch it in midair. Here. So all of these hand transitions are based on keeping contact. And we're teaching our hands to work in a certain way, and that is the way that we can use it in our taijutsu as well. So for instance, so my hands are, when I want to grab here, my hand is traveling down his arm. It's not here. If there's a hand change, I'm using the same kind of movements that I'm learning with the Jo. So again, Ria, this harmony of principles, is working, teaching our hands how to move with the Jo, which I can transfer to taijutsu forms.